impressive. Admit defeat. Whoa, no, it's fallen off. Fighting with the wheel. No, I wasn't going to do that. Whoa, yeah. Oh, it just dropped off at the end. Whoa, really heavy on the brakes there. Oh, it's clipped the curb. Okay, so we have the latest version of the software on here, 2019.36.2.1. So improved driving visualization, so things like traffic cones come up, so we'll see if we can come across any of those on our jaunt. We've also got stopping mode on regen, so one pedal driving. I've set that up, so we'll see how that works. Scheduled departure time, which is very impressive. Really looking forward to using that. That's a really useful feature. 5% increase in acceleration and performance, as if the performance model was slow. So yeah, another 5%, so that's good. Automatic navigation based on your calendar, so it will automatically navigate to calendar appointments if they are set in there. So we shall try that at a later date. So I'm going to just rerun the route I did the other day down to St Neots along the B456, 645 even. Right numbers, just in the wrong location. And see how we go. I've just pulled up just to set everything up. And I've already noticed that the regenerative braking is just so much better. I always thought it was a bit weak on the, just waiting for a car to pass, on the previous version. In fact, my Kona EV has better, stronger regenerative braking than the Tesla, so I was a little bit disappointed, not horrendously. But since this update, it is much, much better. It is on par with the Kona in the short period that I've already done. Just put us straight onto. So we're on Navigate on AutoPilot. A little bit of a correction on my behalf. It was pointed out to be in the comments on a previous video by Mike Reed, so thank you for pointing that out, Mike. I was using the term FSD, full self-driving, which, as he quite correctly points out, is installed in the car and I've got the hardware for. However, it's not actually working in the car, not all the features are there yet. So what I'm using is AutoPilot. And so a single click down on the stalk is adaptive cruise. Do it twice. See, I'm doing the action now. Doing it twice brings AutoPilot on. So that's basically what I've been using. So my fault. Hold my hand up. So I shall refer to it now as AutoPilot. We're just coming up to the roadworks again. Those that watched the previous video, I will link it up here in case you haven't watched it, so you can do a compare and contrast. I need to knock AutoPilot off here because we're crossing lanes and it won't understand. This is the new version. Got all those cones coming up, so that's an improvement on the visualization. So cones, 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 cones. All good stuff. Which should help with lane positioning. I'm thinking, so if you've got cones down the side of the road, which you have on the right hand side here, it should then move the car over so it's not central in the lane, it's just slightly offset. That's what I'm hoping. I wonder if we'll get a chance to see that or not. So already I'm on Navigate on AutoPilot. I wanted to take this route again because I wanted to check to see if some of the areas where AutoPilot dropped out when I last ran this route have been improved. So I'm just going to dial our speed down here because we're coming up to the first one. So this is the 30 mile an hour section through Chelveston, which I shall see how this does. It does it extremely, it says auto steer limited, but it's managed it. And then I'm going to slow us down because last time it came through here, it failed on this double S bend here, mainly because of speed, I think. So I'm going to take it down way before, so the car's slowed down. See what happens. We're now, whoop, oh, it's fallen off. Fighting with the wheel. It's not back on again yet. No, it's still not back on again. Okay, I'm back on again. Yeah, so it basically doesn't like that. So I think until they've painted the lines a bit, that one's going to be a nil point. I've also had a couple of questions about the speed here. So now it's recognised we were in a 30 in Chelveston, it's gone up to a 60 here, but we're still at 30. So I've set the controls to absolute and whatever the speed is. So as you can see, it's still stuck at 30 max. If I press the 60, it will then accelerate to 60. Smoothly round there. 45, very nice. And through there as well, very nice indeed. Sharp left-hander coming up here. It's braking a bit. Braking again. It's interesting, it tends to sort of brake before the corner, which is what you would expect. It then gets into the corner, and about halfway round it then brakes again. Not on all corners. On that one it was fine. I'm just going to go keep it under 50, which is just as well because we've got a really tight bend here, which this did last time okay. Slowing down, 30, around there okay. A bit pedestrian, but safe. Road drops away here, off to the right, braking again. Tight bend at the end here, which it will need to do all it can. It's already slowed down tremendously from sort of 50, 55 that we were doing. Again, a bit faltery through there, not a smooth turn through there. These fast sweeping bends, it's just fine with, absolutely fine. Really confident and progressive with the steering and acceleration. It's the really tight, slow ones that it has problems with and tends to hesitate, I think would be a good word, either with its brakes or its acceleration, or a combination of the two. See how we get around here. It's fine. Touching the wheel but applying really light pressure, so it's now out of the 30 mile an hour, so we've got 60, but again we're still remaining in 30. I'll just press the little 60 symbol. Auto steer temporary available, although the icon did come up briefly. back on again. So autopilot back on. Quite a steep curve there, which it sort of took in two parts. It did the first part okay, and then decided it needed to add a little bit more turn to get around the curve. So this was the chicane into this little area, which it did fine last time. So I'm just going to dial our speed down to see how it does. We drop into a 30. And I think this did it just under 30 mile an hour last time. Yep, fine, perfect, no problems there. And then if you also recall, did this fine last time. There's a bend at the end here, which it shot into, and it's probably a 20 mile an hour turning. So I'm actually creeping along here to this, which is fine. And I'm going to dial it down to 20 just to see if it can do it around there. Got no one behind me. See, the roads are really well marked, so I'll be surprised if it doesn't do it. But so we shall see. It's turning. Oh, it's clipped the curb. Very interesting. It did turn, but before it got to the turn, it started to do the turn, which meant it clipped the back rear wheel. Hello? You know, you're supposed to be in the middle of the road doing the turn, and it had already decided to move over on that corner before it really got to the corner. Yeah, just clipped the curb with a tyre, thankfully, rather than the rim. So we've got some bends coming up, which, whoa, really heavy on the brakes there. So we were doing 50 and it's plunged into the brakes really, really hard. And I think it was because it felt that car, which was coming the other way, was actually on our side of the road, because the road's got a big S-bend in it, and it was looking ahead to what it felt was our lane with a car on it. It's the only reason I could think, but it's for no reason. It's just plunged on the brakes hard. Coming up to some tighter bends here, it's already started to brake, nice and progressively. A little bit pedestrian at 31 mile an hour, but safely round. And then the other way. Accelerating away. So yeah, okay through there, just perhaps a little bit slow. And the same thing again here. It's set to 50, but you wouldn't want to do 50 around here. It's easy, you can do 40, but we're doing 30. So it does seem to be a little bit like a learner driver out with their examiner or instructor. Whereas sort of that bend took at 40, which you would do at 40. So it just seems a little inconsistent at the moment. So actually, let's go brave, see what happens. Oh, it doesn't like it. No, even though the little symbol appears. Whoa! It symbol appears, and you try and put it on, and you go, no, now you're in the middle of the road. Well, why give me the symbol then? And then when you do put the symbol on, which I did right towards the end there, it then glides into the parked cars, which is, you don't want that. There was a couple of questions that I had on comments about knocking it off towards roundabouts. Was that because I wasn't confident that it would actually negotiate them? The fact is it can't negotiate them at the moment. So unless there are clearly defined line markings all the way round the roundabout for on and off, it's not going to be able to do it. And generally in the UK, our roundabouts don't have that line markings on them, so it ain't going to work. This is this tiddly bit here. No, I wasn't going to do that. I was just trying that at sort of 18 mile an hour to see whether it would deal with it, but it wouldn't do. But what I was also moaning about was that I was in a 30. I'd come in and through the 30, from the 60 into the 30, but it was still showing as a 60. And then you engage cruise control, and thank you, and autopilot, and it was still at 60, so you have to dial down the speed really, really quickly. Just see how it gets on here. I'm at 19 mile an hour. Whoa, no, it would have just fallen out at the end there. It's almost done it, but not quite. I'm guessing that's the restriction to the steering with our regulation 79. No one behind me. I'm just going to dial our speed down. It's got plenty of time to slow down. It's got 18. No, it's not. It doesn't even line itself up correctly for that one. It hasn't got auto steer on the moment. 18 again. No, it's never gonna do that, John. Just admit defeat with AutoPilot on that one. Let's see if it does this one. Whoa, it's really interesting. Engaged AutoPilot there, and we're in 30. So instantly it speeds up because we were doing like 15, 18 mile an hour, something like that. Which is fine, but right in front of it, within sort of 20 yards, it had a sharp left-hand bend, which it was never going to make at 30 mile an hour. So it's not a very intuitive decision to put your foot down. Nice sweeping bend here, which it's done okay. It's a really tight right-hander. It's fast, but it's tight. You could either do this 40 easily. We're started at 40, now at 35. Now slowing, maintaining 35 round there. So back up to 50. Back on autopilot. Oh, you're going. Oh, that was impressive. Managed that lovely. That was like I was driving that. So really gentle sweeping curve, maintained. We're doing 53, so I was going to say maintain 50, but we're actually doing 53, but that's fine. Yeah, very, very smooth, very easy. Little dab of the brakes on this one. As the bend opens up, it's fine, so just drop to mile an hour. Again, this is a drop away bend. We've dropped sort of 6 miles an hour. And we're coming into the tight 30 bit, so I shall dial us down. So we hit that at 30. There's nothing behind. Well, perhaps I'm a little bit premature with dialing down the speed, but that's absolutely fine. So in at 30. And I'm going to drop this down to sort of 25. See if we can get around. I want to do 20. Let's see how it gets on here. Yeah. Oh, it just dropped off at the end. It was going to do it. I'll put it back on again, but no, we were there already. drops back to 30. So it almost did the first one. It just dropped off at the end, and then the second one comes up so quickly, it didn't get time to re-engage, but in reality it wouldn't have made it. Let's do this one. A bit of a dab on the brakes then, but it's made it. So that's actually a tighter than 90 degrees, that turning, but it's quite open, as it were. There's the roadworks up here, so I'm not rushing along. As there's cars coming the other way, it's quite likely that we're going to be at a halt at the lights. AutoPilot can't pick up on traffic lights at the moment as well. We've got cones on our side, so these should come up on the new version, which they do, and they're in the middle of the road. Oh, look. So we're first in the queue here, and navigate on AutoPilot would not stop us. Well, it would brake anyway because there's an obstruction in the middle of the road. But if that traffic lights and sign was set off to the side and they were on red, we would just carry on. It doesn't recognise traffic lights at the moment. Future update. What have we learned? I guess learned that there are some roads that at the moment AutoPilot can't deal with, and the auto steer, so it has limitations. And probably the same as last time, really. They're the real tight turns where you've got no road markings, and yeah, I guess that's the main ones. So if you've got any comments, drop those down below. What else do you want to see? What new things do you want to see? We've got the latest software on here. How do you think that was? Was it any different from the previous version? For me, not greatly. Visualizations, but in terms of how it worked and its abilities, I don't see much change between the two versions. It's like most things, it's incremental improvements with the software. So we'll see how things go. So yeah, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell icon, share, all those good things to help the channel grow, and I shall see you on the next one. All right, take care. Bye. Oh, just black screened again there. Temporarily, it did that the other day at about the same point, actually. I need to go and check that on the video to see whether that was exactly the same point as it did last time. It was certainly on this road at this sort of juncture.